We'll start over, guys. I hope you don't mind. Because we're most definitely going to be covering everything going on with Cash Patel. No doubt about that. Because a lot is happening with Cash Patel. I am at Starbucks. In case you're wondering. But I'm not going to say which one I'm at. There's a lot of them. There's a Starbucks on every corner here in Florida. Well, okay. Welcome, everyone. So let's get into Cash Patel. Because what President Trump has done with Cash Patel is just beyond spectacular. I mean, it is, I think, out of all of his picks, okay, Cash Patel is probably the most important. Not that the others are not important, right? Each one is going to be doing their own little unique thing. Pam Bondi, Pete Hegseth are going to be doing amazing things. But Cash Patel has the greatest task of all. And let me read this article in the New York Post about it, and then I'll tell you what I mean by that. This is the New York Post. Here's the headline. Trump taps longtime ally Cash Patel to lead FBI, putting Christopher Wray on the chopping block. Oh, yeah. And that's the headline. Okay, we haven't even gotten into the story yet. And, you know, the thing about FBI directors that I did not know until Trump fired Comey. And then everybody knew about it because they made a big deal about it after that. FBI directors are appointed to 10-year terms. They don't get fired, okay? They are pretty much there for as long as they want to be there. That's just how it works, right? They're just not fired. And Wray is not done with his time. And I saw him on CNN yesterday, and he did not look well. But anyway, here it is. This is the New York Post. President-elect Donald Trump has selected Cash Patel to lead the FBI, closing one of the last remaining presidentially appointed positions available 2 months before taking office, and putting current Bureau boss Christopher Wray's tenure on the chopping block before his term expires. See, the 10-year term I was telling you about. Cash is a brilliant lawyer, investigator, and America First fighter who has spent his career exposing the corruption, defending justice, and protecting the American people, Trump wrote on Truth Social Saturday. This is Trump talking about Cash Patel, played a pivotal role in uncovering the Russia hoax, standing as an advocate for truth, accountability, and the Constitution, Trump continued. This FBI, which means the FBI under Cash Patel, this FBI will end the growing crime epidemic in America, dismantle the migrant criminal gangs, and stop the evil scourge of human and drug trafficking across the border. Cash will work under our great Attorney General Pam Bondi to bring back fidelity, bravery, and integrity to the FBI. Then they go on here in the New York Post. This announcement comes after Trump spent years at odds with Wray, who he nominated to head the Bureau in 2017 after firing Comey. Well, Wray took the job when Comey was fired, so he should not mind handing it over to Cash Patel when he is fired. Yeah, the FBI director reports to the Attorney General. FBI is under the Justice Department, that is correct. So Pam Bondi would be in charge of the FBI through him. Christopher Wray invoked the president-elect's wrath over what Trump viewed as political investigations against him, including the Mar-a-Lago raid, which was later, was later indicted for allegedly retaining classified documents. Now, remember, they threw that case out because it was totally bogus. It was not about classified documents. It was about something else, which I may get to in a bit. I don't want to get sidetracked now. And then questioning whether Trump had been struck by a bullet at the Butler, PA rally, where that never-Trumper shot him in the ear. So that had to piss off Trump. Trump knows he got shot in Butler. And Christopher Wray actually questioned that. Can you believe what a jerk? Trump claimed the FBI director's remark proved that he knows nothing about the terrorists and other criminals pouring into our country at record levels. The once and future president, oh, I like that. The once and future president has also accused Wray of lying to Congress about his awareness of Biden's cognitive and physical decline. Wray, whose 10-year term doesn't expire until 2027, would need to resign or be fired to create a vacancy for Cash Patel to fill. Cash Patel brings a wealth of... This is in the New York Post I'm reading from. Cash Patel brings a wealth of experience as a former public defender, later attorney for the U.S. Justice Department's National Security Division, and served in multiple intelligence and national security roles in the President-elect's first administration. He'd been considered as a frontrunner among the MAGA camp who hope he can shake up the Bureau and reverse its record of targeting conservatives in the Trump era. The New York native is known for his deep loyalty to Trump, which has made him a target of the left, despite serving as a National Security Council officer, senior advisor to the acting director of national intelligence, and later chief of staff to the acting United States Secretary of Defense. Cash Patel will have to earn a Senate confirmation to become FBI director. He was one of the leading Republicans opposing the investigation into Trump in Russia. He's written about the need to dismantle the Justice Department, do an overhaul of the intelligence agencies, including the FBI, by firing their top ranks and prosecuting to the fullest extent of the law anyone who in any way abused their authority for political ends. Yeah, who would be against that? Okay, so it goes on and on. Okay. This is my thought on that. Okay, I personally believe, and I think you all believe this too, probably. You can let me know if you agree with what I'm going to say, yes or no, in the live chat. I believe that the deep state, the media, the bureaucracy, all this talk, who's really running the government, who's the secret government, and I think that the FBI have been running the government behind the scenes since the days of J. Edgar Hoover. Okay? I think that's just the way it's been. And I think that not only do I believe that, I think most people believe that they've been running the government for 50 years, maybe longer, because by intimidation, blackmail, or whatever. Like when the whole purpose of the fake Russia dossier, if you remember, when it got to Comey, he took it to Trump Tower when he was president-elect the first time, and threw the fake Russia dossier on Trump's desk and said, we can either investigate this or it can go away. He was trying to intimidate Trump into playing ball, which is how they've been running the government all these years. Usually, because Trump's the first president not to be part of the political establishment, usually these presidents, by the time they get to that level, they've been groomed from an early stage of their career, and by the time they become the president, they're under the control of the deep state. Trump was an outsider, and they tried to use that dossier to get control of him. But I think the FBI has been behind everything that's been going on in this country, at least since the Kennedy era. And that's not some type of radical thought. I think that's pretty much mainstream thought. You can tell me yes or no if you agree with that in the chat. So the job that Cash Patel has, and Pam Bondi as the Attorney General, is much bigger in scope than anyone realizes. When I was growing up, they used to talk about the Hoover files, right, that he had on everybody and what happened to them. And they made a movie, I don't know, maybe 10 or 15 years ago with Liam Neeson, where Liam Neeson played the FBI agent that was Deep Throat in Watergate. And They showed that the files were destroyed in that movie. The movie with Leonardo DiCaprio, where he played Hoover, in that movie they show Hoover's secretary lighting the Hoover files on fire and burning them up, that they disappeared. It's nonsense. They never disposed of the Hoover files. They just kept adding to them. So those files are still there. They've just been adding to them all these decades. And that's how they've been running the government. So for Cash Patel and Pam Bondi, because remember, the FBI is under the authority of the Justice Department, under the Attorney General. So Pam Bondi and Cash Patel are about to take on a job that is not only huge, large in scale, beyond our ability to even comprehend how deep their tentacles are, but it's something no one's even attempted to do before because they've been afraid to do it. And I know 100% that Cash Patel knows exactly what he's getting himself into. I hope Pam Bondi does too. So, I mean, this is a job that is just insanely important. In fact, it is the number one in the whole swamp. If you're draining the swamp, Cash Patel is taking on the swamp creature that runs the swamp. Right? I mean, that's it. I mean, it's that big. So what's he going to do? What's Cash Patel going to do first? I don't know. You know, he's given a lot of interviews. Some of them are pretty recent, where he's talked about all of this. And he wants to fire all the top brass instantly. He wants to take all the agents at the D.C. branch and disperse them through all the FBI offices around the country and the world and get them involved in investigating and arresting criminals, he said. And probably the first place that would be all the problems going on at the border and with the deportations and the cartels and all of that. And they're not going to take that lightly, and they're going to do everything they can do to obstruct that. They'll tell him that they have all these ongoing investigations that have been going on for years and decades, and it'll blow everything, and they have people undercover here, they got people undercover there. All that's got to end. And, you know, I'm surprised that the only thing that surprises me about it is that he announced Chris Wray so early. I would have thought he would have done it closer to the inauguration or even after. Right? I mean, Cash Patel's been talked about for a few weeks now. This is what everyone's been hoping for. Every MAGA person has been hoping it's going to be Cash Patel. There's no getting around it. We've all wanted. This is it. So now we got our guy. But those deep state forces in the permanent Washington class, they're not just sitting back waiting for Cash Patel to come in and shut him down and expose him and do all of that. What they're doing right now is figuring out how they're going to survive through this and what they can do to win against Cash Patel and Pam Bondi and Trump. They haven't surrendered. So what that is, we don't know. But there's so much to do. There's so much to focus. I mean, he just said recently that he wants to release the Epstein files, everything on Epstein, including the list. I mean, these are amazing things going on. And there's no doubt in my mind, I mean, that this is the biggest job because everything is tied to what Cash Patel and Pam Bondi have to do. These are the two most important posts that Trump has made, without a doubt. Everyone's important, right? And what Hegseth and all the rest are going to do is important, but this one is at another level entirely. It's this one is this one is at a level that I'm not even sure they realize quite how big it is. It's that big of a deal. What's going on here? It's that big of a deal. And I mean, I'm excited about it. You look at what Trump has done. Everything he's done is what we've wanted him to do. And that's why I told you guys, there may be, like, I know a lot of people are upset about the Surgeon General pick. Trump knows what he's doing with every single pick. And every single pick he makes, there's a reason for it. What the reason is, we may not be privy to. But what Trump is taking on is so large, so huge, that you're either with him or you're not. You're either MAGA or you're not. You've got to trust Trump through every single decision he makes here, because he knows exactly what he's doing. Now, I wanted to ask you guys your thought on this, yes or no? Megyn Kelly, who's, she's pretty smart. I don't always agree with her, but she's pretty smart. Megyn Kelly said over the weekend that the only way for Trump to stop this Democrat lawfare that he's been suffering through is to prosecute Hillary, Obama, Biden, and all the rest for their crimes. What are your thoughts on that? You think Trump should do that? Should he, the difference, I do. I do. And what Trump would be doing is not the lawfare like they've been doing. They have been persecuting a completely innocent man, Donald Trump. These people are guilty, right? Remember, it started with Hillary's campaign, right? Hillary's campaign paid Christopher Steele for the dossier, and then we got the snowball effect with all the rest, right? I'm not going to go through a list. You know everything that's happened. And I think he absolutely should. They're guilty as hell. It's not lawfare. It's not lawfare. And to call it lawfare is misrepresenting what it is. Lawfare is going after innocent people, abusing your office, charging them for crimes they didn't commit, planting evidence, and doing all this other stuff because you can't beat them. What Trump would be doing is not lawfare. He would be bringing criminals to justice. So that's a big difference. It's not what if Pam Bondi, Cash Patel, and Trump go after all of these people. I don't think we should characterize it as lawfare. It's just justice. I mean, you've got a bunch of bad cops. If you've got a bad cop who's out there arresting innocent people and planting evidence and everything else, it's not lawfare to go after them. It's justice. You're going after criminals. So it's, I agree with Megyn Kelly, although I don't want to call it lawfare, because it's not. Yeah, that's right. Like Superman, truth, justice, in the American way. Lawfare, because it's not. Okay, good. I'm just checking the audio, because I wasn't sure how the audio sounded. It sounds good. Yeah, if you're new to my channel, my name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, and if you're already subbed, do me the favor of liking the video if you don't mind. Now, I did a short stream on my way here, and I was talking about Fani Willis, and I think out of everyone, all these criminals, local and at the federal level, that have been involved in the lawfare against Trump, that Fani Willis or someone from her team, when I say Fani Willis, it could be Nathan Wade, it could be somebody that works on her staff, but Fani Willis and her office, I think, are the most likely to be the first to get indicted for their crimes against Trump. The Georgia Supreme Court, they're talking about, they're getting ready to dismiss everything, they're getting involved, and we've got, Republicans
Georgia
there.
Supreme Court,
yep, hold on, hit the wrong button. Although we can't trust the governor of Georgia, we've got a conservative state. New York, there's a lot of criminals in New York, but that state's run by Democrats. And I think Letitia James, she's bad news, but I think Fani Willis is probably the most likely to be the first to get indicted. Fani Willis. I'm not saying who I want to be the first. I'm saying who's most likely to be the first is, I think, Fani Willis or people from her team. And that is not a bad route to go, because we know that Fannie Willis's gigolo boyfriend, Nathan Wade, flew to Washington and met with Biden's White House counsel. Why did he do that? It's obvious he did it to coordinate the lawfare with the Justice Department against Trump to try to defeat him. And that is very illegal. So you got to start somewhere. And I think that's a great place to start. Wherever they can get the indictment, okay, I'll be happy. Wherever they can get the indictment, I'll be happy with that. But Fannie Willis, I think, is probably the most likely. You guys agree with that or not? The most likely to be the first. Yeah, not who you want to be, who you think will be. Oh, they all need to be prosecuted. But it's not lawfare. It is not lawfare. You know, Fannie, I think they were promising Fannie to be governor of Georgia, maybe the Attorney General of the United States if Kamala would have won. She was getting something out of this. Fannie Willis. She wasn't doing this out of the kindness of her heart. You know. So she was bought off with the lawfare. And by the way, all the people in that case, when the Supreme Court of Georgia tosses this, all the people that are indicted in that case with Trump, they should all be charges thrown out, even the ones that made deals under the intimidation that Fannie Willis brought against them. Fannie had stars in her eyes, exactly. You know, she's a very spoiled girl, Fannie. You know, she thinks she runs Georgia. Well, things are a lot different now, aren't they? Now, one of the things that Cash Patel is going to be involved in, Trump talked about it in his post on Truth, is the FBI is going to be heavily involved in the deportations. And Jasmine Crockett, you know, this is Jasmine Crockett over the weekend on MSNBC. Let me play this.
Expect mass protests in response to mass deportations?
I do, but I also don't expect mass deportations. I think that it sounds good and they look like the tough guys, and we know that has really been their brand, is to basically look like the bullies that they are. But, you know, when you start to get into the nitty gritty and start to talk about details, that's when they're like, well, we didn't realize this or that. Or even when you start to talk about the cost. When we start to ramp up what the cost will look like for us to actually effectuate this, but then also look at the cost to our economy.
Oh my God! This is fascinating. All of a sudden, here's the Jasmine Crockett. The Democrats are fiscally conservative. They're worried about how much money the government will spend on the deportations. All of a sudden, and now they're getting into the economy. Listen to this.
Look at the cost to our economy. I just don't really see it happening. As the mayor pointed out, he talked about those service workers and things like that. And someone who serves on the agriculture committee, I can tell you that I have talked to countless farmers that talk about the need for these migrant workers. So listen, unless your viewers are planning to send their kids to school so that they can go and work on the farms, then God bless. We can make sure that we keep American agriculture going. But the reality is that is not who's been working the farms in recent years. It has been these migrants. When we look at our hospitality, it has been migrants. When we look at the restaurant workers, it has been migrants.
Is she going to mention the brothels too, in the massage parlors with the sex slave migrants?
And so, you know, when we start to look at the cost, not only coming directly out of our pocket to effectuate this, but also the cost to our economy, I just don't think that they're going to do it. And ultimately, he'll blame it on somebody else, or we're all supposed to forget, just like we forgot about the wall, that Mexico was going to pay to build.
Okay, they did pay to build the wall. Okay, so this Jasmine. Okay, this is really Jasmine Crockett is such a sad, sick, twisted, thoughtless person who has she's got the mind of AOC. She's AOC, Kamala Harris, dumb. You know what she went through? She didn't mention the sex slavery, and by the way, where are the hundreds of thousands of missing kids? But she talked about people working on farms, the hospitality industry. Maybe that includes the brothels and the massage parlors. Maybe she considers the hospitality industry, including prostitution. I don't know. What Jasmine Crockett is talking about is a slave trade. She's talking about slave workers. And for her, as a black woman in America that is obsessed with reparations and America's debt to African Americans for slavery that we ended and fought a major war to end, to take the slaves away from the Democrats, right? She's making a case to maintain slavery. Yeah, they're paid a couple pennies a day, but they're slave laborers, hospitality workers, the sex slaves, and the people that work on these farms as migrants. It's a new form of slavery. It's like sharecropping in the South was a continuation of slavery. If you have ever studied what the Democrats did with the sharecroppers, that was a maintaining slavery in the country. So Jasmine Crockett, this is insane, okay, what these people are talking about. She's talking about the need for slave labor. We can't do these deportations because we need this slave labor. And we need this slave passage continuing to come into the United States to maintain our economy. Jasmine Crockett's so stupid, she doesn't even hear what she's saying. I'd love for her to come on with me on the radio one morning. I'll spend 3 hours explaining all this to her. And I don't think she'll do it in studio. I'd love to have her in studio and explain all this to her. And the arguments that Jasmine Crockett is making are the same arguments that the Democrats were making in the 1850s against ending slavery, that the economy was dependent upon it. Who's going to do all this work? That's exactly what they said in the 1850s. Who's going to do all this work if we free our slaves? And that's exactly what Jasmine Crockett is talking about today. Democrats think they're so much smarter than everyone else, and they're just stupid. Stupid. It's amazing. And, she says that crap, and of course, no one corrects her. Now, this is a clip here from CNN. They've got Andrew McCabe on, who Trump remember he fired him right before his pension kicked in, like a couple days before his pension would have kicked in. This is Andy McCabe. He's on CNN. And the announcement had just come out. This was yesterday. That Cash Patel was named as FBI director by President Trump. Let's listen to what McCabe had to say.
Andrew, I just want to start first with you and just get your reaction to this news tonight.
Yeah, well, it's a terrible development for the men and women of the FBI and also for the nation that depends on a highly functioning, professional, independent Federal Bureau of Investigation. The fact that Cash Patel is profoundly unqualified for this job is not...
Wait a minute. What makes him unqualified? What makes Cash Patel unqualified? He's an attorney. He's worked at the White House. He's worked in the Justice Department in the past.
Highly functioning, professional, independent Federal Bureau of Investigation. The fact that Cash Patel is profoundly unqualified for this job is not even like a matter for debate. So I think what we should really be thinking about right now is what does this signal in terms of Donald Trump's intent for the FBI?
That's right.
The installation, or the nomination, I guess we should say at this point, of Cash Patel as FBI director can only possibly be a plan to disrupt, to dismantle, to distract the FBI.
Yeah, that's right. Right? Remember Trump, promises made, promises kept. It's a campaign promise.
And to possibly use it as a tool for the president's political agenda.
Oh, like it hasn't been that for the last almost 100 years.
And, as an organization, we know what that looks like. This country has been there before, right? The pre-Watergate FBI, the J. Edgar...
Yeah. See, what you hear with this, and this is what I'm hearing with Andrew McCabe. I'm hearing fear. Do you hear fear with McCabe?
Before, right? The pre-Watergate FBI, the J. Edgar Hoover FBI, struck fear in the hearts of Americans across the spectrum of politicians, people in entertainment, people in the civil rights community, because the director operated at the direction of presidents to collect political intelligence and to utilize the legal authorities, the investigative authorities of the FBI to terrorize and intimidate Americans.
Yeah, like when they put a bug on Trump Tower to listen in on the campaign, and you know they had his home in Trump Tower bugged too, or broke into Mar-a-Lago with the safecracker to get into his personal safe. Is that what McCabe's talking about?
So the question is that where we're going back to with this nomination? I would argue that Cash Patel would be the perfect person for Donald Trump to nominate if that's in fact his intent for the FBI.
Oh. Now, do you hear panic in his voice? I hear a lot of panic. I mean, this is their way of life. They don't, these lawfare criminals, they don't realize that they're criminals, They don't think of themselves as criminals. They think of themselves as patriots. And their whole world is coming down. And by the way, if you're new to my channel, my name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Make sure that you subscribe. And if you'd like to support my channel, go to mypillow.com. Use my promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. Huge Christmas specials going on right now. I'm looking right now. This is insane. Mike Lindell just over the weekend, I haven't been to the site all weekend, has added a whole bunch of new deals. I mean, the lowest prices I've ever seen on the My Pillows that are as low as, I don't even know how he's making money selling things at these low prices. Huge deals on the mattress toppers as well. But the My Pillows are at the lowest price I've ever seen. He's just lowered the prices over the weekend. He's got some what he's calling price buster deals with my promo code Kane, and still free shipping is still available on orders over $75. Oh, the Black Friday super sale is still in effect. So there's huge deals on the premium My Pillows, the My Pillow 2.0s, the bathrobes, the dish towel sets, the My Pillow mattresses, the regular towel set, pretty much everything. There's huge discounts on pretty much all of the top My Pillow products, including he's got a new set of robes for women, the ultra soft robes, pajamas. It goes on and on. So if you'd like to support my channel and my content, go to mypillow.com, use my promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, and load up. Just incredible deals going on there right now. And remember, free shipping on orders over $75, okay, with my promo code Kane at checkout. So, so there's just a complete panic with Andrew McCabe, and he should be panicked because they've been doing nothing but breaking the law all of our lives. Unless you were born before, and lived before Truman. But at least since Kennedy, they've been running the show, at least, if not before. Let's face it. I mean, it's just the way it is, And when they've been running things for so long, they're just not going to sit back and say, "Okay, Cash Patel's coming in." Believe me, they're making plans. Now there is another story today. They're trying everything, right? And the left, they think that this story is bad for Trump. Trump's picks, the people that he has around him, are amazing. And there's an article, the staggering net worth of Trump's cabinet has been revealed. And, he's got a lot of people that are billionaires around him and a lot of people that are worth many hundreds of millions, but some billionaires too. And they're trying to portray this as a negative, that he has so many rich people around him, they can't relate. How can they relate? They're all rich. I think it's better that they're so rich. I mean, if they're billionaires and worth hundreds of millions of dollars, talking about Vivek and Elon and all these people, they can't be bought. They're not going to sell their country out and get people killed in Ukraine just so they can set their family up for the rest of their lives. The fact that they are so rich is that's why I call Trump's cabinet the untouchables. I called it that the first time. You want people that are so rich they can't be bought to be in charge of these things. You don't want poor people that are getting into government like Biden did so they can get rich. right? Come on. So I think it looks, it's a good thing that they're rich. The richer, the better. The less corruptible they are. I mean, look at Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley was pretty much bankrupt. Her parents' house, which she owns, was going through foreclosure. And then all of a sudden, she becomes a millionaire many times over and is financially secure. Oh, the military-industrial complex bought her, made her their spokesperson. They tried to make her president. Oh, yeah, it's very nice out. It's not too sunny right now, a few clouds in the sky. Yeah, the Invincibles and the Untouchables. That's it. I mean, I'm sitting where I'm sitting. I know you got the wall behind me, but I'm facing out at the door. So everyone that goes into the Starbucks, they look over. They see my hat and my sweatshirt. So that's right. Not only is this channel where MAGA comes to talk, Starbucks is where MAGA comes to talk. Oh my goodness. It's kind of funny. Some of them, you know, they look and go in, but some of them I get a double take every once in a while. So PBS, listen to this, PBS NewsHour, they're saying that since Trump has won re-election, that there has been a spike in racist incidents. Let me pull this up, hold on.
For more on these incidents.
Okay, here we go. Yes, this is PBS NewsHour. Since Trump's re-election, there has been a spike in racial incidents. I'm so shocked that liberal PBS is reporting this.
For more on these incidents and what can be done, I'm joined by Margaret Huang, President and CEO of the Southern Poverty Law Center, an organization that monitors hate and extremism in the U.S. Margaret, thank you so much for joining the NewsHour. As you know, the FBI is investigating those texts, but as of now, we have no clearer sense of who sent them. Based on the content, Margaret...
Okay, now what they're talking about, they're not talking about the threats made to the Trump cabinet. They're talking about Hakeem Jeffries' made-up story about threats to Democrats that were signed MAGA, okay? Give me a break.
What do you make of these mass texts, and what is the intention behind them?
I make that they're complete bullshit, that Hakeem Jeffries is lying, and that they are desperate to take the heat off of what really has happened to Trump and his people.
It's really clear to us that hate and extremist groups are using the election of Donald Trump as an encouragement to cause fear and anxiety.
Where is this? What are they talking about? Those feds at Patriot Front? What is she talking about? Where are these hate? Where do they find these hate groups? Where are they out releasing statements? Have any of you seen any of that?
In communities of color, in religious communities, and in the LGBTQ community. Because of his use of racist, sexist, and other discriminatory rhetoric.
Where's that Where is Trump's sexist, racist, and discriminatory rhetoric? What has he said that is any of those things? This is the Trump derangement syndrome, right? It just goes around in their mind, and they just feed off of each other and their little groups.
On the campaign trail, he's essentially encouraged his followers to spew hateful rhetoric, and he's emboldened them to embrace this hateful ideology.
Oh, he has emboldened them to his, what did she call it? Let's go back.
Hateful rhetoric, and he's emboldened them to embrace this hateful ideology.
Who is the them? Who are the them, this MAGA hate group that she's talking about?
You know, even if Trump has stirred up feelings of racial animus.
Oh my goodness. Where has Trump stirred up feelings of racial animus? I mean, if they really want to talk about a hate group, that is a racist hate group, I think that and you can let me know in the chat if you disagree with this, yes or no, if you're watching live. If you're not watching live, let me know in the comments. But the racist hate group and organization, I think, is MSNBC. What do you guys think? Joy Reid and Rachel Maddow and all the rest. I think that might be, could MSNBC be considered a racist hate group, hate organization? I think so.
You know, even if Trump has stirred up feelings of racial animus, he also saw gains, as you know, in this election among Latinos and African Americans.
Yeah. So why are if he's spreading all this racial hate, why are so many Latinos and blacks supporting him? And what are they, stupid? They don't know that they're supporting somebody who's racist? What are they talking about? Maybe he's just not racist.
With the second Trump term, do you expect that there will be more or less tolerance for this kind of hate speech?
I think that many people who supported the president-elect did so because they share his rhetoric and ideology, but many other people did not. Many people voted for him for economic reasons because they're frustrated by the economic situation of the country, and they wanted a change from what they were experiencing over the last few years. That is not a mandate to embrace racial hatred or misogyny.
Oh, okay. So the blacks and Hispanics and the women who voted for President Trump, they didn't know, is what she's saying. They didn't know what he was. If they would have known, they wouldn't have voted for him. Is that what she's saying? Oh my goodness. Let me play more of it. Hold on, guys. Oh, by the way, before I get to the rest of this, I'm going to put a link to my second YouTube channel in the chat, my Main Street Moments channel. If you guys could subscribe to that channel, I'd appreciate it. This is a video I made over the weekend on that channel. It's my vlogging channel. If you guys don't mind, I'll pin it to the top of the live chat. All right, let me rewind it. Back to the PBS NewsHour.
They were experiencing over the last few years. That is not a mandate to embrace racial hatred or misogyny. And I believe, in fact, that as we move forward with the incoming administration, more and more people are going to reject that rhetoric and call for a change.
They've just called for a change. The change is President Trump. Now this is an interesting thing, because what the left and what the Democrats have been doing, when the American people find how bad it really has been, because what we know, as bad as things that we know are, I think we just know the edge of what's going on. And there's a story in Breitbart today. This is insane. You know, Trump's talking about shutting down the Department of Education, right? Listen to this. I tweeted this in Breitbart. Data shows that the Biden-Harris administration, they've been using the Department of Education to target faith-based colleges. According to the American Principles Project, actions by the Department of Education have targeted Christian colleges and universities while ignoring Ivy League schools. 70% of the actions they've taken involve faith-based and career schools. And it's a very detailed article that you guys can go and look at. But what's happened here, the Biden-Harris administration has, let me get to the end of it, because they mentioned some of the schools. What they've done is they hate Christians, right? Just like every other Marxist country, they want Christians out of the mix. But what Biden and Harris have done with the Department of Education is target these Christian schools so that they don't get federal grants for student education, so students can't get federal student loans to go to the schools. According to the study, about 12 Christian colleges have been targeted with penalties or are no longer allowed to receive federal student aid. Okay, so what they do is they go after these Christian schools, they target them, and kids can't get student loans from the government to go to college there. The things that they have been doing are on a level that I don't think most of us even realize how President Trump, we know that he saved the country. We know that. But I don't think we know how far off the edge of the cliff we were, right? Like if you got a car that's hanging off the cliff and is getting ready to fall off, how much of the car was over the edge? If the car's America, right? How much of the car was off the edge and how much was still on the cliff hanging on. You know, I mean, this story here just really shocked me. That is how active these Democrats have been in their efforts to destroy our country. Yeah, Satan. And you know, they're targeting them not just because they're Christian, but they're viewed as conservative as well. I know it's insane. It's completely insane. Working for Satan. Cash Patel has to get confirmed. I don't know how a recess appointment would work for the FBI director. I don't know how that works. I mean, he can do it, but it would be, I don't know if it would be for 2 years like the rest. I'm sure he can do it in a recess appointment, but I don't know if it would last for 2 years like a cabinet position, because it's not a cabinet position. It might have some different rules attached. I don't know. I'm sure Trump knows, though, which is what's important. More important than us knowing. But then what they've done, I mean, how many people have to, you know how expensive college education is, especially these Christian colleges or private schools. So if you can't get a student loan to go to college there, you can't go there. You got to go somewhere else. You've got to go to college, not at a Christian college, but at one of the liberal indoctrination centers, where if they teach all of their crap. Hate Israel, hate Whitey, hate America. You know, I mean, that's hardcore weaponization of the government. So, you know, and this is all Obama. You know, people, you got to realize, Obama was elected 16 years ago. 16 years ago, he was president-elect. That's a long time. And Obama, who no doubt communist, did so much hiring inside the bureaucracy of the government. And these people have been there, many of them, for 15 years now, 15, 16 years. They're running the bureaucracy now. And they have done weaponization of our government on levels, like this thing with the student loans with the Christian colleges. Have you heard that before? That blew my mind. But like I said, in all the communist countries, they want the Christians out. They want all religion out, because religion gets in the, they want liberalism to be the religion, because religion gets in the way of their control over us. It's totally insane. But I'll tell you this much. President Trump knows about all this and more, a lot more. And he will get to the bottom of everything. You know, it's really amazing the level of preparedness that he has been involved in these last 4 years out of office. He has been so busy doing everything that he's doing right now, right? He's just been preparing for this moment. So, I mean, I have 100% confidence in President Trump. All these things we're talking about will be resolved. And that's why so many of the people he's bringing in are so young and are Washington outsiders like Pete Hegseth. Because they don't owe favors to the media. They don't owe favors to the D.C. permanent Washington class. You know, they just owe their allegiance to the American people, to Trump, whoever it is, but not to these evil forces in Washington that are doing things like stopping Christian colleges from being able to take student loan money. Who does something like that? Democrats, I guess, right? Exactly. Democrats. It's bad. I mean, this is just bad. Now, there's a lot of infighting going on. Let me see if I can play. Is this long enough to play? Yeah, listen to this.
We'll get into this during the conversation.
This is James Carville.
The resistance is going to have trouble raising money. These fundraisers are burnt. They're really pissed now. And the damage that the 2024 campaign
Kamala
has done, the damage that this decade has done to the Democratic brand is almost unfathomable. Almost unfathomable. Boy, I hope those funders wise up, because they're going to get hurt too. But talk about the damage the 24 campaign did, and I think you're not. I think you place some of that blame on the Harris High Command. First of all, remember I love that scene in the movie The Graduate where he says, Benjamin, one word, son, one word, plastics. Right. You know, right. One word, audit.
Audit.
So I have people that are contacting me to run for DNC chair. Promise you I'm not going to get in the middle of that. But anybody, and I don't have a vote, or I don't have an opinion, no one cares, but I would say the policy number one is we're going to audit everything.
Okay, so what he's talking about, what James Carville is talking about, is auditing the Kamala Harris campaign. Listen to this. The Daily Caller is reporting that the Kamala Harris campaign spent nearly $1.5 billion since July 21st. And Carville is calling for an audit of Kamala Harris's campaign. It was a big money grab. And let me tell you something. Kamala and her husband got some of that money somehow. There's no way they didn't find a way to get their hands on some of that $1.5 billion. This is a beautiful thing because we're unified. We've got the perfect president who's hiring the perfect people. Everyone Trump's picked is perfect for the job he's picked them for. We're united behind Trump, and then the Democrats aren't just infighting. For the Democrats to be talking about auditing their presidential campaign, I don't think we've ever seen the Democrats at odds like that before with one another. You know, Donald Trump, he used to say during the 2016 campaign, say what you want about Democrats, they always stick together. Well, they used to. They used to stick together. But the Democrats don't stick together anymore. They are at each other's throats. And the more division among the Democrats, the better for the country. Now, I couldn't believe this. When I first saw this story, I thought this can't be real. But it's true. This is in the Gateway Pundit. I tweeted this story. Listen to this. The New York Times. Okay, listen to this. This is a story about the New York Times. On Thursday, the New York Times published an article chronicling the turmoil caused by Blair Fleming, a biological male on the San Jose State University Spartans women's college volleyball team. Many teams in the Mountain West Conference had forfeited games rather than play against Fleming. Fleming's inclusion has resulted in a lawsuit against Mountain West. Okay, and the New York Times used a story about Fleming and the controversy to erase womanhood entirely. And they were they listen to this. Listen to this. This is a paragraph from the New York Times talking about this transgender athlete in the college volleyball. On its website, the NCAA, again, this is the New York Times now. On its website, the NCAA says trans volleyball players are eligible to play if their testosterone level is less than 10 nanomoles per liter, whatever that means. That's at least 4 times more than what many experts say is the top of the range for non-transgender women and in the typical range for adult men. So they're calling women, not women, the New York Times, they're calling them non-transgender women. So if you're a woman and you're not transgender, the New York Times does not call you a woman. A woman can be all kinds of things now. You're a non-transgender woman, according to the New York Times. My wife is a non-transgender woman. My mother and daughter are non-transgender women, according to the New York Times. These people are out of their freaking minds. See what Trump saved us from? This type of sick talk is what was running the country. And if Kamala would have, God helped us, win, if she would have won, they would have taken it as a mandate for this kind of crap to be normalized. And it would have been amped up big time. Non-transgender women. When I first saw that, I saw it online yesterday. I thought it was a joke. I really did. Because how could something so stupid like that be real? How's it even possible, right? It's like, there's no way this is real. There's just no freaking way. It's crazy. Now, tomorrow, guys, I'll be back on the radio as normal. I'm all recharged from my long weekend off, which is a good thing. It's nice to have the weekend off, especially a long week. I usually, in the past, on Thanksgiving weekend, I usually go on vacation, but we didn't go on vacation this year. But it was just nice to stay home with my wife. We had a good time. So tomorrow morning, things will be back to normal on the radio. So, I mean, that's just sickening stuff. Now, yesterday, I was talking on yesterday's live stream, I was talking about Trudeau surrendered Canada to Trump by coming to Mar-a-Lago on Friday. That was just amazing. Just absolutely amazing. And I saw Tom Homan over the weekend talking about the southern border, but he was also talking about the often ignored northern border with Canada. And listen to this. This is insane. The majority of terror suspects stopped by Customs and Border Patrol this year came from Canada. 87% kissing the ring or kissing his ass. Which was Trudeau doing? I think he was kissing his ass, which is good. We like other leaders coming to Mar-a-Lago and kissing Trump's ass. That's a good thing. Listen to this. 87% of the 410 terror suspects stopped by U.S. Customs and Border Protection this year came from Canada. The National Post of Canada reporting the shocking figure Friday. Donald Trump has been discussing tightening security on the northern border, which shocks some, as the southern border is normally the one being scrutinized. On Monday, Trump threatened to impose a 25% tariff on Canada and Mexico if they didn't take more action to protect the U.S. border. The tariff will remain in effect until such time as drugs, in particular fentanyl, and all illegal aliens stop the invasion of our country, Trump said on Truth Social. Don't you love how he's making his statements just on Truth Social Post? The National Post, this is out of Canada, reports, in addition, both Alberta and Ontario have pledged to independently start patrolling their own southern borders. So here we have President-elect Trump. He's got the Mexican president. She has stopped the caravans marching towards America. Trudeau flew to Mar-a-Lago on Friday to kiss Trump's ring. And now Alberta and Ontario have said they're going to start patrolling their southern border, our northern border. I mean, this is amazing. The National Post in Canada reports Alberta and Ontario have pledged to independently start patrolling their own southern borders. And they say, to compare us to Mexico is the most insulting thing I've ever heard from our friends and closest allies, the United States of America, said the Premier of Ontario, Doug Ford. Well, do your job. I mean, that's amazing. That is just astounding to me. It really, truly is. Now, what do you guys think? Because a lot of people are talking about this. What do you guys think? Should Trump run the country from Mar-a-Lago, or should he run it from the White House? And what do you think he'll do? Is he going to run the country from here mostly, or Washington at the White House? What do you think? Well, let's do one question at a time. Let me know in the chat if you're watching live. If you're not watching live, let me know in the comments. Do you think Trump should run the country from Mar-a-Lago or D.C.? That's what pretty much everybody says. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. He should. He should. And I noticed a lot of people have been saying over the weekend that Trump should have the inauguration at Mar-a-Lago. Paulette thinks he'll run it from both. It's not about safety. It's about making a statement. I think it makes a statement. And it makes many statements running the country from Mar-a-Lago. And one of them is that Washington's not important, that it's corrupt, that's not where the power is, right? And he has home field advantage. They have to come, for them to come to him at Mar-a-Lago is a big to-do. When he's in Washington, for most of these people, it's just a short 10-minute car drive, maybe less. You know, so for them to have to go to so much trouble to come here to Mar-a-Lago gives him a big advantage. But I think it really makes a statement on the permanent Washington class and their not being important. And I don't trust the White House to not be bugged again. I really don't. I don't trust the White House for him to be able to speak from privately without being monitored. I just don't trust it. And you look at the staff. You don't think that they're embedding spies in the White House staff, the butlers, the cooks, and the people that serve the president? The staff that now you can't trust them. But his staff at Mar-a-Lago, he can trust. They're his people. Believe me, they'll have the staff spying on him at the White House. And plus, who knows? They may have bugs. Who knows? Believe me, they're not happy. They would not be happy if you ran the country from here. And it also makes the press have to come here. You know, I've been wondering, I've been watching Fox, okay? And where they're doing their reports from. And I know where they're at. And the Fox, when they do their reports from Mar-a-Lago, they're not from where they normally are. They're in a more permanent place. And I think that they've rented some office space, Fox News, near Mar-a-Lago to do those reports from. Because I can see where they are from the background. I'm not going to tell you guys. But it's like Fox is setting up permanent camp here. They might have some facilities here because Hannity lives in Palm Beach and does his show from Palm Beach. So they probably have some permanent Palm Beach studio in the area anyway for Hannity. But to make the press corps have to come down here for the press briefings every day and all of that would be the best. D.C. and the White House, they have home field advantage there. You know what I mean? He has home field advantage here. Oh yeah, and it's great for Florida. Absolutely. Boy, I wonder, does DeSantis ever think to himself, man, I really effed up going against Trump? What do you think? He may not be self-aware enough to know that he effed up. But no, if he ran things from here and had the White House press, you know, the White House doesn't mean the physical building, you know, necessarily. The White House goes where the president is. You know? So wherever Trump is, they'll have to go. And could you imagine? The only thing they'd have to do is they would have to, the acoustics at Mar-a-Lago are like an echo chamber. So they'd have to put together a press briefing room that has better acoustics in it than the Palace of Mar-a-Lago. But I think that would be awesome. If the press, they would not be happy either. Why should they be comfortable? Oh yeah, DeSantis screwed up. You can always tell a smoker. The coughing and hacking in the morning, smokers. Oh, believe me, it would make a very strong statement in favor of Trump. I think that should be the all year round White House. I think he likes it there anyway, better than the White House. It's safer, that's true. But when, you know, it's like I was talking about yesterday. If Trump had his transition going on in D.C. somewhere, Trudeau would have flown in, he would have stayed at the Canadian Embassy in D.C. It wouldn't have been that big of a deal. Here, he had to come in, he had to fly all the way to Florida, which is a much longer flight, and then he had to take his motorcade to Trump's house. It puts people in their proper place. You know, there's all this talk about Biden said he's going to be at Trump's inauguration, and there's a lot of talk about Kamala whether she'll attend the inauguration or not. Who knows? But you know, the Democrats in Congress could very well stage kind of like a inaugural strike, like none of them will appear. And I'm kind of expecting that. They're going to try to get J6 vibes going. And we're not going to go to the Capitol and watch the inauguration of an insurrectionist. I can see them doing that. I can most definitely see them doing that. I hope they do. You know, what the Democrats have failed to admit to themselves is that the American people have rejected them and their ideology and their entire political philosophy. They just haven't accepted it yet. They still think that they feel the pulse of the people. They lost the popular vote. Trump flipped how many counties in California? 12? The blue states got a little more red, mainly because of Lara Trump. You know, but the Democrats are still in denial. MSNBC, they're being sold off. The View is on the verge of being taken off the air. Oh yeah, this was a major landslide victory for Trump, no doubt. No doubt. DeSantis is a good governor? Yeah, I will agree with that. He's a good governor. When there's a hurricane, he's Johnny on the spot. He takes care of everything. The Titanic sinking? Absolutely. Absolutely. Renee, he should run in Rikers. Why? That's where you send criminals. Why would Trump be there? Tell Kamala the inauguration has an open bar. She'll be there. Yeah. I imagine she drinks. I see her drinking like wine out of a box. What do you think? Like buying those big brown bottles you see at the grocery store. When you're a wino like that, I don't think she's drinking expensive wine, do you? Mar-a-Lago. It's Mar-a-Lago. Mar-a-Lago. M-A-R space A space L-A-G-O. Mar-a-Lago. Boxed wine. Yeah, I'm not into wine. I'm not a big wine drinker. Especially red wine. But Kamala is. Yes. By the jug. Yeah, she drinks it by the jug. Oh, another thing, too, I want to talk about here before I forget. All this talk of the potential candidacy of AOC, I think that's a total BS thing that Fox News made up. Who is, other than Fox News, who is legitimately talking about AOC being a candidate for president in 4 years? And why are they doing that? I hope it's true. She's an idiot. She's dumber than Kamala, and that's saying a lot. But it seems to me like the Fox News crowd just made that crap up. What do you guys think about that? You can still taste that from years ago? Oh my goodness. I feel sorry for I've never had that. No, I think they totally made that up. I was really ignoring it until I saw Kellyanne Conway was talking about it on Friday. And to me, it seems like something they made up just to have something to talk about. Her method. Yeah, she has kind of like a spout, like they have at bars. The thing about AOC is it's not just that she's dumb. She doesn't know it. She thinks she's smart. Like Kamala, I think Kamala knows she's dumb. You know? So you know you're dumb, that's a whole nother problem. you know. Beverly in Barbados, welcome. Welcome. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, all right? And if you're already subscribed, like the video, and don't forget, I put the link to my second YouTube channel, so if you guys could click that link and subscribe to that channel, I would appreciate it. AOC's missing something? Yeah. Sense. You know, she would be a great candidate. Dumber than Kamala. Yep. I mean, the Democrat, you can even see how, you know, was it Target or Walmart that's ending their DEI crap? You know, I mean, that's and they do it publicly. That's a big deal. You know, Democrats, they're not excited about that. They thought that this was this new era of this new Democrat Party in this country, and they have been 100% completely rejected, and they don't even know it. Walmart, yes, Lynn, it was Walmart, yeah. For Walmart to come out and say they're rejecting DEI, imagine how that's affected their bottom line. For them to come out and publicly let it be known that they're not doing that. They could have done it in secret, but they did it and let everybody know about it. That tells you how bad for business it is for them. No doubt about it. Yeah. Well, guys, listen, I'm going to head home, but again, if you're new, subscribe. If you're already subbed, do me the favor of liking the video, and don't forget, huge Black Friday weekend specials at MyPillow.com. Price is so low, I've never seen them this low. So go to MyPillow.com, use my promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E, free shipping on all orders over $75. And remember, when you use my promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout at MyPillow.com, you're supporting all my content, my YouTube channel, the radio show, and my podcast, and my family, and me. So go to and Mike Lindell. So go to MyPillow.com, use my promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. If you don't mind, I would appreciate it. All right, guys, take care. And I got to turn this around to stop it so you get to see the other side for a second. But hold on. I got to take it off of here. There we go. Hey, guys. So I will see you, if not later today, because I'll probably be back later today. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, back on the radio, just like normal. Holidays over, man. Back to work, like with most of you guys, right? Thanks.